Hi guys, Melinda Farkas here. Welcome to Weekly Travel Updates. Tonight we are in the nursery at Baptist Temple because we're having revival this week, and I could not do my Facebook Live, so there's only a couple kids, and they're in the other nursery, so I came into this side so that you could hear me. Man, I tell you, I am so thankful that all of my travelers are back in North Carolina, um, or at their destination safely. Um, it was really strange this weekend to have so many cruise ships that they were supposed to come in, they couldn't come in, so they were delayed, they stayed at sea extra days, so many to the point that on Saturday in Port Canaveral there were too many ships. There are only six um, pier areas for cruise lines, and there were more than six there. The MS Divina came in, dropped off passengers on Saturday, went back out at sea so that the Carnival Magic could come in to that spot and drop off passengers and pick up new passengers. And the Disney Wish was there. Another Carnival ship was there. Two Royal Caribbean ships were in and out. So it has really been something. Which brings me to a point. I know we've discussed it here before, but I've had several people say, "Hey, they need to give me something extra because I missed 2 days of work." Now, this was not my customer, but they were forced to be at sea extra days because Ian was along the coastline and they just could not put a ship in that kind of danger. So I tell you, it was really something. Thankfully, we got away with like 4,300 people were without power when the storm came through. We only lost internet at my house, and our power flickered on and off, but we didn't lose it, so that was very good. Um, the challenges now, because there were several sailings that were just canceled. The ship was coming in late. Um, the passengers and the to restock, like just to restock. Think about, I heard a figure here recently, Royal Caribbean and who else was that? And MSC both said that there is more than 20,000 eggs that are fixed in a week. 20,000. So when it is storming weather, you have ships coming in, people want to get off and go home, but it they can't restock right then because the weather was too turbulent. So it was quite a fiasco in the ports this weekend. Now, one thing that has come about from the storm is new negotiations because New York was so inundated with this weather that even though they've started a tent city for homeless and for immigrants that were shipped to New York, even though they've started that tent city is going to cost 15 million per month for New York City to house the homeless and the immigrants that have been shipped there. So they're in negotiations with Norwegian Cruise Line. We're not sure what ship they're going to allow yet, but it looks like they're going to lease to the city of New York a ship for 6 months that would get them through the winter, for immigrants that have been displaced in New York City, and then just the homeless that are already there. So kudos to NCL if they are willing to do that. In the Ukraine area, Holland American did that for months. And when the 6 months was up, um, I I would guess they made other plans because the 6 months is up and now the ship is sailing with regular passengers. So let me tell you what else is going on. Let's see. Oh, with the Carnival earnings shared last week, um, it's a huge loss. It's a huge loss, but at least there is revenue, and revenue has increased. Well, with that, the stock market really took a hit. It's the least expensive I've seen any of the cruise line stocks in months. Carnival's been over 10 very consistently. They're down to 7.7 $7.03. Royal Caribbean had been as high as 48. Royal Caribbean's down to 37 even. And Norwegian, that I guess the highest I've seen it is 18.19. It's down to 11.56. So that's well, for some people who want to buy stocks, I guess I would say yes. I shared not too many months ago how Carnival's shareholders have immediate discounts on some people are purchasing small amounts of Carnival just for those benefits. And well, at $7.03 per share, that's about the least expensive I've seen it. So um, let's see. I I can't even begin to imagine all of the families that have been affected and the lives lost and people who are still missing in Florida. But I tell you, one of the saddest sights that I saw um, was people on the other side of the road going over to Sanibel Island because the whole road was washed away. Um, who knows how quickly they're going to be able to make even a temporary bridge because there's not a lot on Sanibel Island. I can imagine their medical teams, especially if there are people who are in need, are really desperate by now. So please keep those Floridians in your prayers. I'm in church tonight. We have revival this week. At the end of tonight, we're going to say a prayer for them, and I hope that you would join me. One of my friends who I saw just a few weeks ago, his cousin Josh, their house is completely submerged. And another client that I talked to today, they were in booking a cruise, and one of their family members had relatives just south of Fort Myers, and their house completely submerged too. Um, Another customer was in today and she said, well, my cousin lives in Fort Myers, but thankfully she was in Rochester, New York visiting family, but her car was a total disaster. Her car was pushed all up and down. And if you saw some of those shows or slides this weekend, one of the ones that I totally blew me away were boats that had floated into a storage facility, and it looked like some had gone down this way and some had gone down this way. Anyway, in the middle of the storage facility were two very large cabin cruisers. I mean, not just a skip boat, or a fishing boat. They were large. I would say at least 40 feet. 40-foot cabin cruiser. So that really is pretty devastating. Um, the Queen Mary has announced that it's going to reopen. If you've been to Hawaii with me, oftentimes we'll stop in Los Angeles overnight. So we make the most of our day, the last day we're there, and we don't take a flight out until late that evening. We arrive Los Angeles late in the evening. We hang out for the day and we take a late flight back. So if you have done that with us in the past, you might have stayed on the Queen Mary with us. It is a floating hotel. They started the renovation during the pandemic and closed it for rental purposes, but it's going to reopen. They don't have a date yet, but I was just excited because if you go to Southern California and you just want a different kind of experience, this very, very old Queen Mary ship is a traditional old steamer. And when you walk through it, they say that it's haunted, and you can read many stories about it, but we just love to use it as an overnight because, well, it takes you out of Los Angeles, it puts you on the water. It's just a cool vibe. So if that's ever been on your bucket list, or if you're going to LA and you want somewhere very unique to stay, Queen Mary is one of my choice. Now, it's in Long Beach, so it's only about 15. That's not really true. It's about 40 minutes south of the airport, of LAX airport. Okay. This weekend, Princess celebrated ships that were leaving Los Angeles, and one of them is going to be the ship that they use for the Love Boat series, which is supposed to air this Wednesday night. The Captain Stubing's daughter was there. Isaac, who was the bartender, he was there in the grand opening ceremonies last night. But that sounds pretty exciting to me. And one of the rated cruise directors for Princess Cruise Line, they're bringing him to this ship. Now, regular travelers can cruise. I'm not sure what restrictions they have, or what instructions they have as far as don't go when we're filming this, or I don't know. But I just think it's pretty cool that they're starting that back up again, and they're calling it the Real Love Boat. And again, it's going to be on Princess, and it starts this Wednesday. Well, if you were around this weekend, we didn't have the Autumn Festival, and that's pretty disappointing. So this coming weekend, we are going to have lots of fun downtown Mebane. I am going to have my big spinning wheel out with prizes, and would love to have you come down and join us. But there are a lot of people who just were too concerned whether or not we should have it, with the weather being what it was. And gosh, half into the day and it was still misting rain. It would not have been a good day. So I hope that you guys pop out and see us this weekend. Come on to Mebane. We would love to see you. And remember, we'll travel on your own. I would love to help you with that trip or 20 you. Last I signed off, I thought, man, I forgot to tell tickets. So your stay here. Does Amtrak provide transport from Arlington or the fairground? Late 8:50 in the morning, you're there about 40, in a brilliant 30. That's what it would be. But during time to this